If you can't handle living with family, you should leave, my mom said, while they stayed rent-free in my own home. I cooked, cleaned, and covered $2,000 a month in bills. When I asked for a little space, she snapped, "We're your family. Act like it." Hurt, I walked out. That night, I slept in my car. But at dawn, I shifted every bill into her name. When I came back the next day, can you imagine being told to leave your own house by the people living there for free? That's what happened to me. I was cooking, cleaning, and paying every single bill for my family, only to be hit with an ultimatum that night. If I didn't like it, I could just leave. And you know what? I did. But what they didn't know was that by dawn, I was going to flip their entire world upside down. My name is Alex. I'm 28, and for most of my life, I've been the background guy, the reliable one who always has a plan B. The one who buys bulk paper towels, labels the shelf, and knows exactly where the plunger lives. I work the IT help desk at a hospital, night shifts, terrible coffee, but a steady paycheck. I'm good at fixing things people don't even notice are broken. Last year, I finally bought my own small, two-bedroom house. Creaky stairs, a postage stamp backyard, beige walls, and scuffed floors. But it was mine. On closing day, I drove there with just a folding chair, sat in the empty living room, and just cried. Not a sound, just tears of pure relief. Then I walked through every room, socks picking up dust, and told my cat we did it. He just stared at me, like I'd completely overpromised. 3 months later, my parents called. A burst pipe at their rental, insurance being a nightmare. Could they crash for a week or two? Of course, I said yes. I'm Alex. I carry extra chargers. I show up early. I fix the Wi-Fi. My family needed a couch. I had two. What could go wrong? Well, those 2 suitcases quickly became 8. A week or two turned into until the contractor calls. My mom started rearranging my pantry like my spices personally offended her. My dad claimed the living room for job hunting, which really meant sports at medium volume and the newspaper draped over my coffee table like a shroud. Then my younger sister, Mia, started dropping by every single day to do laundry because my building's washers are evil. Her laundry usually came with friends, loud music, and hair extensions drying on my curtain rod like some weird, fluorescent seaweed. I kept telling myself it was temporary. I told myself that being generous now would feel good later. I told myself a lot of things. But the bills didn't care about any of my hopeful pronouncements. Mortgage, gas, water, electric, internet, trash, the HOA that loved sending letters about my bins facing the wrong way. I was paying about $2,000 a month, not counting groceries, which had become a social experiment in denial. "We'll get the next one," my mom would say, tossing brand-name snacks into the cart like they were prizes. "You know, we've got you," my dad would add, patting his pockets, which were conspicuously wallet-free. Mia even filmed a haul video in my kitchen and forgot to tag me. I tried systems. I put a whiteboard by the fridge with due dates and amounts. I even wrote, "This is not a fight. This is clarity," leaving space for initials next to each item. The boxes stayed blank. Mia just drew a smiley face next to groceries. My mom wrote love and underwater, which, spoiler alert, isn't legal tender. My house, it wasn't mine anymore. My desk moved to my bedroom so my dad could focus. My second bedroom became a storage unit, meaning all my stuff ended up in the hallway. My cat started sleeping under the bed. I started drinking coffee in my car just to hear silence. The comments piled up just like the dishes in the sink. "Why are you weird about the thermostat?" my mom would ask, nudging it up to 75. "You're young. You run hot. Why are you hoarding olive oil?" Mia demanded, waving my decent bottle like a flag. "Don't be stingy." My dad, whenever I asked anyone to rinse a plate, would just chuckle and say, "Relax, landlord." Then came Tuesday night, 9 p.m. After a double shift, I stepped over 3 pairs of shoes and a mountain of laundry to reach my kitchen. A cold pan of lasagna sat glued to the stove. My dad snorted in his chair. Mia and my mom were scrolling on their phones, synchronized in their boredom. I took a deep breath. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Can we talk about keeping the place clean? I'm feeling really overwhelmed. My mom didn't even look up. If you don't like living with family, you can leave. I blinked. This is my house, I said, my voice barely a whisper. She finally looked up, her eyes narrowing. We're your family. Act like it. Mia smiled then, a small, cold curve of her lips. Seriously, Alex, don't make it weird. Something inside me just clicked. It wasn't anger yet. Just a quiet, hard yes to a thought I hadn't allowed myself to have. I went in my room, shut the door, and heard my mom say, "He's so sensitive." It felt like the period at the end of a sentence I was so tired of reading. This didn't start with the house. This started when we were kids. Mia got dance lessons, I got go read. If she forgot her lunch, my mom drove across town. If I forgot, I learned the cafeteria's exact smell of tomato soup and bleach. Her report cards were on the fridge with stickers. Mine were folded into a drawer with a good, but try harder. It wasn't cartoon villain cruel. It was just the family rhythm. Mia, the shiny one. Me, the reliable background. By high school, I was stocking shelves and tutoring algebra. The money went to savings because, as my dad put it, college isn't our problem, Alex. You're smart. Figure it out. So I did. Loans, scholarships, night shifts. I learned to fix broken sinks with YouTube and pride. I learned when rice was done by sound. Family gatherings trained me to be useful. I jumped dead car batteries. I fixed printers. I drove Mia across town when her migraine hit midday. If I ever said no, the group chat would light up with guilt, then silence, then forced cheerful follow-ups that felt like punishment in glitter. When I bought this house, a short sale, roof groaning in the wind, I didn't tell anyone for a week. I just needed one private win. When I finally told them, my mom cried and said, "Now you're a man." My dad clapped my back too hard. Mia filmed a walking tour with empty house vibes and posted it without asking. I swallowed the sour taste and decided to be generous. That right there was when the boomerang left my hand. Then the burst pipe happened, and they arrived. Day 1, my mom color-coded my pantry and threw out spices she considered suspicious. Day 2, "Don't be cheap," she said, nudging the thermostat again. Day 3, my dad borrowed cash for groceries and came back with craft beer and novelty chips. "We deserve treats," he declared. "Treats are great, but bills don't care." I started tracking the numbers like a blood pressure monitor. Gas, $78.42. Electric, $134.30. Water, $62.17. Internet, $79.99. Trash, $23. Groceries for $112.50 plus, which would get me texts every Friday saying, "I'll get the next one." Friday never arrived. My whiteboard system felt like my last-ditch effort. Words and marker felt like real rules. I wrote due dates. I pre-drew lines for initials. Mia just doodled stars around the Wi-Fi line. My mom added love again. My dad, meanwhile, said, "Budgets are for people who don't trust each other." They went to bed in my house, in my sheets, on my utilities. Mia borrowed my car for work and returned with a fancy Vinny drink and my gas tank gasping. "Oops," she said. She buzzed at 1:10 a.m. because she forgot her key. When I opened the door in my socks, she just looked at me and said, "You're such a light sleeper." That's unhealthy. My mom hosted frugal dinners that were anything but frugal. The sink turned into a museum exhibit titled Evidence of Parties. My dad fell asleep under sports commentary set to a low murmur. "Be quiet," my mom hissed at me. "Your father's tired." My aunt even called me the rich one for buying paper plates. I drive a 2012 Corolla with a taped mirror, for crying out loud. I asked for small things. Please rinse dishes. Please don't use my work laptop to stream reality TV. Please put laundry in baskets, not on the stairs. Wow, my mom said, "You're keeping score." That's toxic. I told Mia, no more friends after midnight on weekdays. She just blinked. "You're strict now." My dad bought a new mailbox, then asked me to install it while he watched the game. When I said, can you help? He just sighed. I've had a long week. From what? He answered emails he never sent and napped. The money, it gnawed at the edges of my days. $2,000 isn't just a number, it's a sound. Drip, drip, drip. I started waking up at 5 a.m. to sit in my car with coffee, just to hear nothing. I missed my old loneliness, the quiet kind. Our talks became a broken record. Me, I need help with bills. Mom, we raised you. Me, I know, but this is now. Dad, you make more. Me, I pay for everything here. Mia, money talk gives me anxiety. The day before that breaking point, Mia used my emergency credit card for an Uber, then paid for a salon day and 3 sparkly phone cases. I saw the charge at midnight, dry-mouthed, staring at my bank app's blue glow. The next morning, I confronted her. I'll pay you back in exposure, she said. Then, seeing my face, okay, I'll Venmo you tonight. She didn't. That night, there were 6 of Mia's friends, my parents, my uncle, and a pot of soup boiling itself down to sludge on the stove. Acrylic nails clicked on my cutting board. My cat was nowhere to be seen. Oh, good, my mom said when I walked in. We need more ice. Do we? I asked, staring at the empty trays like they were a metaphor. Don't start, she snapped. You're ruining the vibe. We need rules, I said, and my voice shook. Not anger, just disbelief. I had to beg to be comfortable in a house with my name on the deed. If you don't like living with family, you can leave, she repeated, like a slogan. This is my house, I said, softer now, almost just to the room. We're your family. Act like it. Everything went quiet. Just the soup, hissing like it agreed with me. My dad reached for the remote. Mia gave that half smile, like I'd dropped something and she was waiting to see if I'd pick it up. I went to my room. I packed a charger and a clean shirt in a backpack, measured out cat food, and then I left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't perform. I just walked to my Corolla, slid in, and locked the doors with a quiet click that felt like the end of a sentence. The porch light was on, the house glowing, figures moving behind the curtains. No one called my name. No one even seemed to notice. That detail lodged in my throat. I drove to a 24-hour grocery store, parked under an orange lamp. Texted my boss that I needed a sick day. Then I turned off my phone. Waiting for a text that doesn't come feels like chewing glass. I reclined my seat and stared at the car ceiling fabric until it blurred into static. Rain came just before 2 a.m., light at first, then a steady chatter. A street sweeper circled. A guy in a reflective vest smoked by his truck and didn't look at me, which felt like mercy. I counted my breaths. I listed bills in my head, the way some people count sheep: mortgage, gas, water, electric, internet, trash, food, cat litter. Repeat. I slept in small, anxious shreds, waking with a neck pain that felt earned. At dawn, the sky went pale and polite. I drove to a coffee shop. The barista slid a cup toward me. Rough night? She asked. I nodded. I tipped too much. Being kind, even to a stranger, anchored me to myself. I opened my laptop. I logged into every single account tied to my address: gas, water, electric, internet, trash, HOA, streaming services no one even watched anymore. In each portal, I clicked Manage Billing. I typed in my mom's full name, her email, the same one she used to order groceries on my card, and her phone number. I clicked Save. Confirmation emails pinged. I screenshotted every single one and sent them to myself with subjects like gas changed, water changed, until my inbox looked like a checklist unraveling. I wasn't canceling anything. I wasn't pulling a plug or cutting a line. I was just reassigning responsibility to the people who said, "We're family," as if that made the light free. My hands didn't shake. My coffee went cold. At 10 a.m., with a headache pressing behind my eyes, I drove home. I rehearsed 3 sentences in my head like a script. Asterisk, I'm not your landlord. I'm your son. I won't carry this anymore. Asterisk, they were at the table, eating cereal. My mom brightened, a brittle smile. Oh, good. Did you cool off? Her smile tried to zip the night into a pocket and pretend it never existed. We need to talk, I said, standing. My dad sighed. Here we go. Mia didn't even look up. Can it be quick? I have a hair appointment. I changed the bills into your name, I said. Gas, water, electric, internet. You'll get the emails. My mom blinked, then her face sharpened. You did what? You told me to leave if I didn't like living with family, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. I left for a night. Now I'm back with boundaries. If you want to stay, we can sign a simple month-to-month agreement. You contribute toward bills. We have house rules. If not, you can make other arrangements. Either way, I'm done carrying this alone. You're punishing us, my mom spat. This isn't about revenge, I said, and again, my voice surprised me with its steadiness. This is about closure. About ending a pattern that hurts all of us. You can't evict your family, my dad blustered. I'm not evicting you, I said. I'm requiring adults to act like adults. The mortgage company accepts money, not gratitude. Mia finally looked up, mascara hovering. So, you're choosing money over family? I'm choosing sanity over chaos, I replied. God, she scoffed. You're so dramatic. It's okay if this doesn't work for you, I told her. But if you stay, we sign at 7. If you leave, drop my key on the hook. No one spoke. I picked up my keys. My mom said, small and cutting, you'll regret this. I already regret not doing it sooner, I said, and left again. This time, to my friend Erin's couch and her dog, who slept with his head on my foot like a paperweight. My phone blew up at 1 p.m. 8 versions of your billing details were updated. Then my mom, what is this? Change it back now. Then, answer your mother. Missed call. Missed call. The group chat was renamed Family Emergency. I muted it. My dad texted, you're being dramatic. Then, your mother is upset. Then, we had plans today. Mia, Wi-Fi is lagging. Fix it, followed by, also, can you cash at me for nails? You said you would. I hadn't. My aunt, be the bigger person. My uncle, pride comes before the fall. My grandma, call your mother. A number I didn't know, your dad is at my place. He's cooling off. I sent one message to the family thread and to each person separately so no one could pretend they missed it. House rules and terms if you stay. We sign a month-to-month agreement at 7 p.m. today. $600 total toward household bills/groceries due on the 5th monthly. I'll itemize. I keep paying the rest. No hosting without asking me first. Clean kitchen the same day. My car is off limits. If these don't work, I'll help find other options. This isn't punishment. It's boundaries. This is an offer with a deadline, not a debate. I put my phone face down, stared at Erin's ceiling fan, and breathed like I was learning how. Erin slid a ginger ale onto my chest and said, keep going. Her dog snored. At 6:45 p.m., I walked into my own living room, feeling like security at my own front door. My mom sat at the table, arms folded. My dad hovered. Mia scrolled, legs folded beneath her like a flamingo. My printed agreement lay on the table, highlighter like war paint. We're not signing this, my mom said. It's insulting. It's clear, I said. Clarity can feel like an insult if you're not used to it. $600, my dad scoffed. That's robbery. It's half the household bills, I replied. I'm still paying more. We gave you a childhood, my mom cried. And I'm grateful, I said. But the electric company won't accept gratitude. Mia smirked. He wrote these lines in notes. I slid a pen over. If you want to stay, sign. If you don't, I'll help you find a place and we can move you this weekend. You don't treat family like tenants, my mom fumed. You told me to leave my house, I reminded her. You framed me as a landlord. I'm choosing to be a person with boundaries. The silence had its own weight. My dad grabbed the pen first and scrolled a signature that looked like a medical emergency. Temporary, he muttered. Until my thing comes through. There was no thing. My mom signed next with angry, looping letters. We raised you, she whispered, like a spell that used to work. Mia stared at the line. I don't have $600, she said. I'll give you $50 in shoutouts. You're not on the lease, I told her. You're a guest. You have 2 weeks to decide where you actually live. Her mouth opened, then closed. You're going to be alone forever, she spat. Maybe, I said. But I'll sleep. She disappeared into the storage room, re-emerged with a tote bag, grabbed a hoodie that was mine, and flounced out. The silence after the door clicked felt like oxygen. We did logistics. Painful, unromantic. Who buys toilet paper? What day does trash go out? How to label leftovers? How to ask before inviting people over? I put my mom's email on the utilities accounts as the responsible party. She refused autopay, and I didn't argue. My dad agreed to mow the lawn and stopped using my good chef's knife on cardboard. I taped the rules inside a cabinet. It felt petty, yes, but it also felt like breathing again. That night, the kitchen sink held one mug, mine. I washed it like it was fragile and laughed a little into the soap. I slept 8 hours and woke to birds and my cat standing on my chest like a supervisor. I fed him. We both looked out the window at nothing happening. I almost cried from relief. Then came the ripple effects. Extended family volunteered as mediators. My aunt, your mother is fragile. Me, so am I. My uncle, your father's pride is hurt. Me, so is mine. My grandma, don't be cruel. Me, clarity isn't cruelty. Mia posted a story about toxic people obsessed with money over a selfie with perfect lighting. I muted her. She texted a rent invoice with a crying emoji. I sent her a list of part-time jobs and Venmo'd $40 for the gas she didn't have. She replied, "Thought you had boundaries." I said, "I do. I'm also your brother." The first cycle of bills hit my mom's name. She called crying. "This is so much." "It's what it always was," I said. "You're just seeing it now." I talked her through setting reminders. She said, "Autopay scares me." I said, "Late fees scare me more." She did it anyway, muttering about scams. We hung up. I sat on the floor and laughed into my hands because the choice was laugh or headbutt the wall. There were slip-ups. My dad invited friends over for a game without asking. I came home to beer rings on my coffee table. I didn't yell. I just stood there, pointed at the door, and said, "House Rule 3. He exhaled through his nose, herded them out, wiped the rings with his sleeve, and asked, "Happy?" I said no. Consistent. My mom touched the thermostat one night and then backed away like it burned her. The next day, I bought her a fuzzy blanket and left a note. "Use this instead of the furnace." She used it. "No, thank you, but no, I don't need one either." We set a timeline. 3 months to find a new place. I made a spreadsheet of rentals, linked bus routes, starred the ones near a grocery store that wasn't expensive. My dad rejected every listing for reasons that sounded like running. Too small, too far, too ugly, too many stairs, not enough stairs. I changed the spreadsheet column header from reasons to excuses and said gently, "Pick a choice." He glared, then circled one that was fine. We applied. They got it. The night before the move, my mom made lasagna and cleaned the pan like a confession. She set a plate in front of me. "Eat," she said. "You look tired." "Thanks," I replied. We ate quietly. The house exhaled. The move took 6 hours. I carried boxes labeled miscellaneous that were anything but. They were every drawer emptying at once. I kept finding my things inside, my tape measure, my screwdriver, a hoodie I'd written off as lost. I took them back without comment. When the truck pulled away, the rooms felt bigger. The hall was a hall again, not a maze. The whiteboard went into the trash. The couch cushions stood up straight. I stood in the doorway and waited for triumph. It didn't come. What came was clean. Like stepping out of a pool and realizing you're finally warm. That night, I slept without earplugs. I woke up before my alarm because the house was just that quiet. I made coffee in my own kitchen and stood barefoot on floors I'd mopped yesterday, thinking, this is what normal is supposed to feel like. Nothing snapped into perfect shape after that. It's not a movie with swelling strings. It's a series of small choices that add up to peace. My mom still drops "you embarrass me" when she's hurt. My dad still says autopay like it's a disease. Mia still posts quotes about chosen family that are true and also land like tiny darts. But here's what changed. I no longer audition for Good Son by bankrupting myself. I no longer apologize for wanting space in a house I pay for. I no longer hand over my car keys, my credit card, and my sanity to avoid being called dramatic. I ask for what I need. I say no like it fits in my mouth. I put money agreements in writing, even with relatives. Especially with relatives. The calls are different now. Can you help move a dresser? Maybe. What time? How heavy? Can you spot us groceries? I can build a $60 list that feeds you for a week. Can we come to dinner? Saturday, 7 to 10. Bring dessert. No extras. Boundaries look stiff on paper, but living inside them? That feels soft. Like having a spine and a couch at the same time. A week after the move, my mom texted at 10:04 p.m. We're short on water. Can you cover? We'll pay you back. Old me would have paid immediately and lived in the familiar famine of next Friday. New me replied, I can loan $40. I'll send a DocuSign due back by the 15th. She wrote, ridiculous. And signed it 3 minutes later. She paid on the 14th. Progress is a calendar notification and money arriving on time. It's not poetic. It's good. Sometimes I still hear that line, if you don't like living with family, you can leave. And my jaw tightens. Then I look around. My plants are thriving. My cat is asleep in a sun square. My coffee mug is drying beside the sink. My mug, no lipstick ring. The thermostat's little screen is at 68, like a steady heartbeat. I breathe all the way down. I didn't fix my family. I adjusted my part in the machine. I stopped confusing sacrifice with love. I stopped mistaking being indispensable for being valued. I drew a line and stood on my side without shouting. If you're where I was, family in your space, rent-free in your rooms and in your head, cooking, cleaning, paying for everything and apologizing for asking for quiet, here's the script I wish I'd had. Write it down. Prices, dates, rules, consequences. Say it once, calmly. Expect blowback. Expect silence. Expect the parking lot night and the orange lamp and the thought, maybe I'm the villain. Expect, after all that, a kind of peace that isn't loud. It sounds like a dishwasher finishing a cycle. It looks like a cat blinking at you from a windowsill. It feels like putting your keys in a bowl by the door and knowing exactly where they'll be tomorrow. My name is Alex. I'm 28. Not the golden child, not the rebel, not invisible. I'm the one with a house that finally feels like a home because I finally acted like it's mine. And when I lock the door at night, it's not to keep people out. It's to keep my peace in. So, tell me, what's the hardest boundary you've ever had to set with family, and how did it go? I'm genuinely curious to hear your stories. ***.